Listening to your goals and dreams is our top priority at West Tennessee Bank. Benefit from our more than 100 years of experience and visit our Henderson branch today. West Tennessee Bank, focused on you. West Tennessee Bank is a division of Decatur County Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the minutes. Are there any corrections or any amendments to the minutes? Accept the minutes as presented. Do I have a second? Second. Have a second. All those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed signify by no. Motion carried. Next item on the agenda are accounts. There's no vote on accounts. On the accounts, if you have any question on accounts, please give us a line item. Thank you.
On page B2 for 79, tree service, payment forward. How much more do you lack having that kind of thing?
The paving has been done the last 2 days. So they have paved it. I believe we're probably going to have 1 or 2 more pay requests for the Kinsey tree service, and there'll be a few other things to clean up at the end. So, don't know exactly where they're at as far as the pay request. This is the last one we've received, so we should be getting another one pretty much any day. For the last month, and then we'll have one more probably after that.
Any other questions on the count? Okay. Next item on the agenda is delegations. If anybody's here who'd like to address the board on any issue dealing with the city, please come forward.
What I wanted to talk to you about was the beer ordinance that we have. And I know you're familiar with them, so is Jim. Back before the first of the year, we had somebody that wanted to come in and open a convenience store out there in the bypass. And they were interested in the property, they were interested in coming here. And then when they were told that they couldn't have beer in their convenience store because the daycare center was within 1,000 feet, they were uninterested because that's a big part of the business. So my understanding is that it's always been 1,000 feet from schools and churches. But somewhere along the way, a few years back, they added daycare centers, something else to the ordinance. And I just wanted to see if you guys would consider, looking at that and say maybe we can do away with the daycare center. He's going to open back up, Mr. Smith, and he's fine with it. But it's just a matter of moving forward and getting something that we can, have here that would be nice. That was a nice convenience store. It had a deli, a full deli, and a butcher shop. It had fresh vegetables. It was not just and it also was going to have diesel fuel. But just trying to make things happen, get some progress, and if that's going to hold up anything that's going to come out there on the bypass, I think we need to look at it and try to move forward. We've got a liquor store here now that just doubled in size. And the other thing I inquired about was if that convenience store was already there and selling beer, the daycare center could open up right next to it. There is no issue with the daycare building or opening next to a liquor store or a beer store, but there's an issue with them building within the 1,000 feet of the liquor store or package store. So that's and I don't want to bring a lot of revenue into the county, a business like that. And I just think it's something we need to look at, course, I have my own personal reasons, I own the property out there, but we're looking at long-term, we're looking at the revenue and everything that the county will, bring in. The liquor store is bringing in a lot of revenue, I know that, so, but that would have been a good business to have out there. It would have really, I think, done well. But that's what I was wanting to talk about, to see if we can maybe just get that part of that removed, where the daycare is involved in the ordinance that you can't have within 1,000 feet. And like I said, Mr. Smith, we talked about it, he said there's no problem with him.
When did that, he was talking, I don't know, I mean, I heard all the time, big forever, but since I was a kid, how did that come back to daycare? What was the other one? Cars. When was that part, that part of 1,000 per year, or that, how they get worked into the order?
Well, many years ago, don't quote me on this, but I have to go back and pull the old ordinances. There was some vague wording that was like places of public gatherings was part of the ordinance. And I think during one of the amendments several years back, that wording did get deleted, but it actually named parks and daycare specifically, instead of, and I don't remember exactly what the old wording was, I don't have it with me, but there was some change in the wording because of the vagueness of places of public gathering. There's been a lot of case law pertaining to what is a place of public gathering. You could say a local community center, or a lot of different things could be that. So I think at the time, the city board decided to clarify and specifically say this and this, along with churches and schools. And so, to my knowledge, you list those 4 things: churches, schools, daycare centers, and parks. And it is 1,000 feet. It's been 1,000 feet for long as most people remember. At one time, the city council did vote to lower it to 500, back, I believe, in the 70s. Late 70s, early 80s. It lasted, I think, 60 days before they changed it back. So, the city council changed it back after the election. So, that was back a long time ago. So, but I can, don't have it in front of me tonight, but I'll be more than happy to pull the old wording and actually get that to you. I can find that, that way you know exactly what the old wording is versus the new wording.
This was I can't quote you, hear what the name of the company was.
What's that?
Came down, sit down and follow.
No, I do not. But
They were out of Lauderdale County.
Yeah.
In Lauderdale County, they had them at.
Yeah.
This was kind of a,
Sort of half supermarket, half.
it's kind of a small version of a Love's or
So they did have butcher cut meats, deli, pretty much all of it.
It was a nice.
Yeah, it was not your average just convenience store.
They had to be, but they picked the spot they wanted to be. We didn't show them. They came in,
Yeah.
I think we got the maps out, they wanted to see everything on the bypass. They would only look at the bypass.
Yeah.
And they picked the spot out, so we didn't show the spots, they picked the spots out.
Yeah, they picked about 3 different spots that they were considered, and all 3 of them were within 1,000 feet of church or park or daycare.
They just built one in Whiteville. They just built
I knew they had like 3 locations they were talking about.
Yeah.
And this was maybe one of them.
Anyway, like I said, I'd like something to go forward on. Kind of get some progress going here. I don't think the daycare center would be that. And what I still, like I said, I'll repeat it. It's okay if they come in and build and open right next to a liquor store. So it just doesn't make sense to me that they can do that, but we can't, build a gas station with beer within 1,000 feet. Thank you.
Does anyone else like to address the city council on any issue? Next item on the agenda is review, consider approval of the second section of fire department's standard operating procedures, or SOPs. I think you have that in your folder, if y'all have any questions or anything.
I had a couple of those.
The state fire commission requires a training coordinator and training instructors. And right now, I am both of those. And so, the training coordinator takes care of it's pretty much the liaison between the fire department as an organization to the state's fire commission. And then there will be several instructors that usually will fall underneath that person. And so, I guess did I answer your question?
Yeah. Now, the instructors will be some of our,
They will have, all instructors are required to have the fire instructor level 1 certificate. So, there are 2 of them now. They're fixed to be another 2 by the end of the year.
So instructors could be part-time, they could be volunteers.
Yes,
Okay.
as long as they have their fire instructor, they have to be
I
on the
think that was
fire.
a question we had, just, I was
All of
wondering,
it.
was,
They have to have a minimum of 3 years of firefighting experience before they can even take that course. It's a 40-hour course. And so they take the course, they teach a class for a practical, and they have to do a challenge or written test with the state. So it's kind of involved, but it's a good program.
But I think Bobby was hitting on what I was confused about, what credentials or certifications they had. And
They have
it's
to-
in here, but I wasn't really
Yeah,
catching up.
okay, so they start out just like any other firefighter. They have to have hazmat awareness, hazmat operations, firefighter 1, firefighter 2 by the state, and then the FDI 1, fire instructor 1 is the next course. So they have to have 4 prior to that before they can get up to that level. So they'll have quite a bit of experience and knowledge by the time they get to that.
I think my question was kind of more, is this person going to be a full-time fireman? That person will be a full-time fireman, or could he be a?
The training coordinator would be a full-time.
I think that's kind of clarity we were looking in, it was one of the full-time, would you, or the fire department consider one of the, down the road, they might use a volunteer fireman?
Now, the coordinator has to be a full-time.
Okay, well, I think that's what we're looking, I was looking at SOP, that a full-time fireman would be, that name that, so that would clear the SOP.
I mean, in volunteer departments, they are volunteer, but we're not. So is that, I guess that needs to be clarified a little bit further.
I didn't know, I was just looking at seeing if we were, how that decision would do it, if it'd be a full-time or volunteer,
Yeah, no,
to be in that position.
I would have it be a full-time.
Okay.
That would just be a duty that's assigned to.
Yeah, we wear many hats.
Okay. I have one other question, and it's just, talks about, additional courses and not more than 20 hours of online training. Now, I know that some certifications, because of COVID,
Yeah, well,
that's changed where they waive some of the online credits, and you can almost get your entire CPA, you can get our 40 hours of annual cert hours.
well, like I said, what you're looking at there is the in-service that's governed by the state fire commission. And they're, in regular business, the volunteers have been brought, part-time volunteers have been brought into that this past year. So the full-time are obviously, 40 hours in service, but the volunteers are part-time. If they want to participate, to get their in-service done, they will have to have 30 hours total. 20 of that can be online, 10 of it has to be instruction.
It's got to be, y'all don't.
And they will change that, like they did this past year on some of ours, that they'll make decisions, and that may change due to unforeseen circumstances. We'll follow those rules.
I see, you brought this tonight forward.
Oh, yes.
SOP's dealing with training, job descriptions, uniforms, and audio video recording on scene. I really like that one, like that, yes, that's included. What's the plan for what's your next step?
The next plan, most of these have been circled around the line of duty death policy, which I'm still working on. It's rather in depth. We have, and what I'm looking for is, from the time it happened that's the time frame. And after that, mostly have that already. What are we gonna supply as far as honor guard stuff? That's pretty much all worked out. It's the whole. So some of the research that I did was, the DOD has that, those funds ready, but you have to follow certain rules. So, I was looking up this last couple months, not put something in the SOP on that conflict with that. So, autopsy, they're required autopsy for it. The gear that they're wearing, that has to be put in the evidence kept. And so there's a lot more detail on that. That would hopefully be the next one.
You have estimated, you have an ETA on what you want to be able to bring out? I think one of the things we've talked about before as a board is the need to not take forever to get the SOP in place. And doing 4 or so at a time is a concern that we've already brought up to you.
I'm
And,
working as fast as I can. I still got operational things that I have to do.
yeah.
In my 24-hour periods.
So are you pretty much doing all the policy
I'm
bills
writing
yourself?
them, taking them to Chief Lifford, letting him and I look it over, sending most of them to Dennis Wool, let him look it over, sending them to Jim and Diane, I let them look it over before they come up here. So it's a rather process. I'm gonna be honest with you, we're not gonna write a whole lot more SOPs. Most of ours are gonna be SODs. There will be some slight tactical stuff that comes up. I think one more said probably wind us up. I don't think that we have too many more. The SOGs are gonna be our guidance for on-the-scene stuff. And, I don't want us to tie it into an SOP because not every scene is the same. So, I don't foresee too many SOPs, more, 3 or 4, and we'll be pretty much wrapped.
That piece of it will
Yes.
be split.
That would be a look.
You think you can have that by the end of the year?
I will try, Marvin, I really will.
Because there's it's still one, we just kind of have to set some deadlines or it can go forever, so.
I understand, I will try and get it to you in January.
And I guess one of the questions is it necessary for you to be the sole person that writes these? Instead of when you've got other officers there that are experienced that can at least do some of the grunt work on it?
There's 4 of us.
Mhm.
We're busy. The first 4 hours of our day is checking on equipment. And then that other 4 hours that they work, however long, sometimes till late, but they're cleaning the station, keeping it clean, mowing the grass. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there, but we have a new guy, Captain Shay, Captain Moore. He will be helping me some.
I appreciate y'all's work.
Yes, one thing, the training year state ran from November 1st to October 31st, yet the reporting period was January 1st to December 31st.
Okay, so there's 2 separate training years. There's our training from, it starts the first, begins October 31st, and goes around. That's our training year. The state's training year is different. It runs from January of 1 year to December 31st of the next.
So the reason they're different.
Ours is set up to the pay schedule, since everybody gets their pay in December for the volunteers. So that gives the office time to get all that together. So, volunteers, they get paid the first week of December. And so,
Talking about the SOG, that's going to include things like general emergency operation, fire suppression, hazmat response, etc. Correct? When you get that completed, you're going to work on that after you get to the SOG.
as soon as I get these done, we're gonna start working on our SOGs. She's gonna get them signed off.
On SOP, what about, is there anything on there about a code of conduct?
Yes, they've already passed those, the last week.
And command instruction was the first read.
Yes, sir.
And then this is moving forward.
Yes, sir.
You got another set about forward.
Correct, yeah. So, look at the last set. Anything else?
Somewhere you talked about the evolve training.
Yeah.
I'm assuming everybody has to pass that to drive the truck.
The drive, okay, well, we're careful on that for a reason. The full-time officers for sure have to have it. And any of the qualified, the part-times got to have it. And there are a couple that work for Jackson Fire, Madison County Fire, that drive, and they have to have it. So, not everybody has to have it. They have to have the NSK free.
Yeah.
But not the EVA or the pump. Driver operator, that's something that we started, that needs to be done every year, so.
Yes, for insurance and stuff.
So gotta have that. Just train.
It's stated somewhere in this.
Yes, sir.
Well, to be sure, I didn't see it state this year, but I've seen this is something we've seen before.
Yes, sir.
Coming up.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Pleasure of the board.
Make a motion to approve and adopt the 4 SOPs that have been presented tonight.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Second. Have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Jim, all in A or nay, or is that going to be a roll call?
There now.
All those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by no. Next item on the agenda is consider an ordinance amending the zoning of property at the fire station number 1, 505 Sanford Street, and adjacent lot proposed site for the new CC 911 Communication Center from an R1 residential to a B4 highway business on the first reading. Brent?
You know that 911 proposed putting a building next to the fire department. As we were looking at that, we decided that, or the plan commission decided that the zoning would be better suited for the intended use if they went from a residential zone to a commercial zone. That type of use is allowed in either zone, but for lot size and setbacks, it would fit better in a commercial zone than it would in a residential zone. So they gave a positive recommendation, just to have the board of mayor and aldermen to be rezoned from R1 to a B4 highway business.
Currently, the station is on R1.
It is.
Okay, I know that. Okay.
When the station was there, the lot size didn't matter because it exceeded the lot size for R1. When they split the lot off, the station is still compliant. The lot split off would not meet the requirements for lot size.
You do remember we sold the lot.
Mhm.
Before it's across the street, so it makes it.
It's directly across the street, so that would be at this time, the best zone available for that use.
And you notice on page E2, which may be backwards in your packet, maybe before each one, that is the surveyed new property line through the property as we discussed. It wasn't exactly as square with the edge as we showed last month, once they actually surveyed the track, but that is the new dividing line between what will be the fire station and what will be the 911 lot, if this whole process goes through. The dotted line is the setbacks on each one of them, and as you can see, the setbacks on this map right now are still the R1 setbacks. That's where a lot of the problem came in. Number one, lot size too small. Number two is the setbacks. By the time you get that, they can't get their building. So that's the reason the requirement came. So this plat will be amended to have the correct zoning on it once, if y'all consider the rezone.
Yes, on the motion, I would make the motion that we rezone that.
Motion to change the zoning on the first reading, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, roll call vote.
Phelps? Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Rhodes? Yes. Mr. Manning?
Yes.
5 voting in favor, 1 absent.
Second reading will be next month along with the public hearing on the Next item on this is item F, discuss and consider approving design of the water main replacement on North Avenue from 4th Street to White Avenue.
If you've driven North Avenue, from time to time, you see every time we get, seem like patched in, we have a main break during the winter months. The section between 4th Avenue and between, like right there at the, where it ties into the line that comes across the highway there at 7th Street, is still cast iron. And as we're improving streets, as we're getting possibility of grant money and things to do infrastructure improvements, the, it doesn't really, since the North Avenue is going to have to be milled down to make the curbs line up, it doesn't really make any sense to spend that much money and then be digging right back into it 5 or 6 times the very next winter. And so, talking to the engineers and several people about how this grant project and infrastructure money is going to work, and the timelines when you have to get an engineer involved to get it designed, submitted to TDAC. Felt like it was time that we look at some of these projects and go ahead and do the design portion, go ahead and have them approved by TDAC so that we can have more of a shovel-ready type project that we can then seek the funding if their funding becomes available through these infrastructure monies that are coming to the states and the cities. And I think that just talking with engineers and things, if we wait till this process gets further along, there will be a lot of, the engineers are going to be too busy to really give good service in a timely manner. And, like it was back in the Obama administration where they provided a tremendous amount of money for what they called shovel-ready projects at the time. The timeline that they put on that money, really what anybody couldn't get a shovel-ready project ready because you had to do the engineering. There was so much front work to do, approvals to do. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and hire an engineer to do the design work of the project from 4th Street to 7th Street and go ahead and get a full design, go ahead and submit it to TDAC and be ready to start this project as soon as the funds become available. This will be just for the design, estimated to be $10,000, and this would be, actually designed, submitted to the state, and be ready. We can still have the normal bid process where we advertise for a contractor. We can still have the opportunity for the board to come back and approve any expenditures on the actual work to be done. This is just for the design.
Is there a reason why it's not going to pass 7th all the way up to White Avenue?
Well,
I don't know how the water line runs.
Well, there's the section that comes under White Avenue is already plastic because they actually bore into it, when we had the boring crew here, they split it up in that casing, and so we know it goes down White Avenue so far. But when we get through with this, what we'll do is make small holes to pothole that the pothole machine, the vacuum excavator came in a couple of days ago, and we'll be able to make like a post-hole size hole and go actually down on the area. We can actually determine exactly where the cast iron ends, the plastic starts, and this project will take out all the cast iron.
Seems like whether we had the ARP money or not, or I know in the past we've done it from 3rd to 4th, we replaced the water line there before we repaid the bleed, because we knew if we didn't, we'd be digging it back up. We paid
The shape that the money is in this section of North Avenue, whether or not we get infrastructure money going forward, this section, we're looking at 5, 6 main breaks last winter alone. So this is a section that's going to be troublesome until it's replaced.
We just need to do it anyway, period. We need a motion to, I would make the motion that we allow Darrell to go to design for that water main replacement 4 to 7.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Opposed, signify no. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is Approve the purchase of 10,000 feet of natural gas pipe at approximately cost of $15,000.
We had we've already used, 2-inch gas pipe in stock. We have gas lines that were put in the budget this year to be, installed, new gas, roads that currently have gas, and this will be the pipe that will be used in, the extension of the gas system project. And this was a budgeted item.
That's gonna be my question, if that's the case, I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase.
Have a motion to approve the purchase, do I have a second? Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, signify by no. Motion carries. Okay, other business. Jim, this probably, since we talked about gas, it's probably a good time to fill the board in on what great news you told me today. So I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, natural gas, price is going up. As you know, we've been at our floor rate, the board set a floor many months ago, 2 or 3 years ago now, for a floor rate of $6.50 per unit inside the city, $7 outside the city, and we have that industrial rate of $6. This month, the billing fixed to go out on the 15th, we are actually going to exceed the floor for the first time since January 2019. And we only did it for 2 months. So this is the only first time since December 18, January 19 that we've exceeded the floor. This is all because natural gas cost to the city of Henderson is going up. This past month, what we paid for gas was $3.92 per unit per decatherm. Today, gas is $4.96, an additional dollar above where it was for this month. So get ready, gas rates are going up. There's nothing we can do about it. We have our same markup, so it's our cost of gas plus the $2 markup inside the city, $2.50 outside the city. So that's just the way it is, but I'm giving you fair warning. This one won't be felt too much because it's been warm.
Yeah.
But winter months are coming. Right now, winter gas today is trading $5.20, and who knows what it'll be by the time we get to January. So that's just what is going on right now. It jumped, I think, a total of about 25 cents today. So it may peak and come right back down. We only book gas 3 days before the end of the month. So right now we're not buying, $5 gas, but we don't know what it's going to be. But we always book the gas basically 3 days before the end of the month. So we're going to be above the floor probably through the winter, maybe even longer. We may never get back to the floor again. We just don't know. We do have a mixed rate. We do have storage gas. Our storage gas right now, we have a total of 68,000 decatherms in storage. The average cost of that is $2.80 because it's been put in there over time, so that's cheap gas. We'll be pulling that out come winter season. Right now, we're still injecting. And we'll probably inject some, we will inject some this month, even at 4 or 3, whatever the price is for this month. I think this month settled at, we were at 430. I think 430 was this month, at the beginning of the month. So what we're injecting right now and what we're buying right now is at 430. So we are still injecting because it's probably cheaper than in the winter. And then we'll pull that back out during the winter. We also have some hedges that we booked some time ago for a small amount of gas, about 10,000 units a month, which is only a small amount of burning for the winter burner. But at least this all goes together to actually come up with the final figure for the cost of gas is what it does. So depending on how much we pull from storage, the hedge, and then also I've got another price on the small amount, 200 decatherms a day, and NYMEX price minus 25, which is still cheaper than the market, but it does fluctuate with the market. So you got about 4 different rates there that are all being merged together that figures our rate every month. And this is my spreadsheet that I figure every month to do. So we'll keep it as low as we can, but I'm just giving you and the customer's warning, gas is going up, and there's nothing we do about it.
I think you all remember when I first got elected in 2008, we paying 1 month, we were paying $14.
Yeah.
I hope we will never get back to that, but this climate is what it is.
whole part of this is, I used to say it was because of Hurricane Ida and all the issues related to it, but the pipelines now, where it used to, all the pipelines produced down in Texas, Louisiana, and the Gulf, pump gas north. We got 3 pipelines to Bethel Springs. 2 of those 3, they're over in the road. I think 2 of the 3, they actually have reversed the flow. They're pumping out the shale gas up in the northeast and actually pumping to the Gulf. So it is a little weird. I mean, weirder than it used to be. So, but still, they had a lot of problems northeast too. So that may have affected the gas supply right now, and that may be part of the reason for the spike. I hope it is, and I hope it'll settle back down.
In other business, I have about 2 or 3 things to bring up. One is the street department brought up a problem they're having dealing with banners. What used to be a couple of banners we put across the road a year, I'll let Eric speak on it. I think they're doing several, and we're constantly putting people up in our bucket truck trying to line. If you get a banner up that stays more than a month or so, they're dealing with it 2 or 3 times during that time and try to do it. So, and then plus, I think we're purchasing all the supplies to put it up. We're asked to put it up, but I think the street department come to us and ask y'all to consider how we're going to start dealing with that in the past. If there's any other options we can do or something like that, but what used to be a couple of banners a year for a week at a time, now it seems like everybody has anything they do, they come to us to put banners across the road, and it's causing some problems and some safety problems for them trying to deal with putting them up. So I'm not asking y'all to say no, I'm just asking y'all to consider what we have any options down in the future we can do.
Right now, you're looking, Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, you probably got like 5 people tied up every time they put up one, plus a bucket truck, plus other vehicles, stopping traffic. Sometimes the police get involved, you're having to get a thing across Main Street, get it up, and then you have a storm, we have to buy the rope almost every time. We buy all the rope, and that's $75 a pop there. You look at about the manpower, the equipment, then you put people up the bucket truck trying to string that thing across, and you let a windstorm come through, then it's wrapped up, and you have to redo it again. I know some of the banners take a month, they may have to go up there once a week to straighten it and tighten it up. It's just become a costly venture, and it has been happening more often. You know,
We charge nothing to do it.
and we charge nothing to do it.
Just, you go buy the rope for everybody.
So it's something, that used to be a few of them, now it seems like anything we do, any group does, they buy a big banner, and they bring it, drop it off our office, put up.
Yes, we put up one time for somebody way out Beach Bluff, man, we like, I don't miss it.
Maybe we need some guidance on who we can put it up for, to limit the number.
Or look, I'm just wondering if the location we can put them up, or somewhere that's not as dangerous. I just wonder if we can find a location, somewhere in the city we own property, we can put them up in traffic and still see that it's not near as dangerous.
The ladder tower is pretty tall, so if a storm does come through and it's hanging down, and this one up here on Main Street was that way the other day, there was no way the ladder tower can get through there.
That's what's going to be, that's a
So it has to be up down at night as
So
well.
it's just something we just have to discuss as a board and try to figure out what's our options, what would be the best way to do this. The other thing I wanted to bring up is, another thing with public works and utilities is street cuts. Y'all know we have, it seems like, they can tell you better than I can how many street cuts. We charge a total of $100 for a street cut. And the problem is, one is that for what it costs us and what we're doing to put them back together, it's really not paying for what it's cost us to do it. But the other issue is, we're not getting paid. I think Jim dropped it on here. I think this one is for, how long, Jim? This one,
January to today.
January to today. Y'all been it down, y'all know how many street cuts we got. We had 5 people pay us for street cuts.
$500, 5 cuts.
If you know, and I think you can ask these guys how many they do. And what happens is the contractor has to come and hit our service line. He goes to Public Works, they come out and they cut the street so it's an even cut and everything else. And then that's how it's done. And we come back and we put later on put the cold mix back in it, which is, at the point, this is the thing we're trying to get away with, to do something more of a hot mix so we can roll it. And so it's an issue that we need to address. The big thing is we're not getting paid for what the $100. And these guys are digging up all the way, cutting the street all the way across. And we got a lot of men out dealing with that.
ordinance says $100 minimum and $2 per square foot above whatever the number was, I forget now. But as a general rule, most times our charges just a flat $100 unless they're turning and going down the street. Or if you cut all the way across, it may be $125. But either way, once again, we're tying up 3 employees, an air compressor, trucks, just go out there and jackhammer the, and then the plumber or contractor digs it out, does his deal, fills it back with gravel, and leaves it level. And of course, we have to go back and replace gravel as it settles, then we have to dig it out, and we either put cold mix in it or hot mix. And, you know, we just paid for a lot of patching around town to an outside person to bring hot mix. And the amount of the smallest cut was $300 patch each one on hot mix. Now that's with them doing, but still, we're charging $100. Most of the time we're not getting paid for that. So there's gotta be a better way. So we'll try to work out a plan, maybe bring it back to you. We'll work with Daryl, Alicia, Eric, Carter, get us all involved and see if we come up with a better plan, a more fair fee. And then also, we're probably going back and start paying the fee up front. Before we ever go out to work on it.
This isn't a break, this is their cutting to
Yeah.
connect to service.
Yeah, now, if utilities go dig what, you know, we don't charge them nothing. You know, of course, they handle their cut themselves, we don't, the public works doesn't go out, so. But this is for anybody outside, most times it's a private plumber or contractor of some sort having a cut. And, we have one contact, I think everybody in the city, the last day or two about a cut they're gonna have to make on White Avenue. And White Avenue is a state highway, and the cities said, we're not having nothing to do with it. They're expecting us to run there and cut it, do it just like they do everywhere else. And we said, no, you go to the state, whatever the state requires you to do, you do it all. That's one we don't touch on. We don't need to get involved on state highway with a private contractor. We want to make sure we wash our hands of that. Now, I think it is a sewer tap, so Daryl's crew will have to inspect the tap, the work they do on the sewer. But after that, it's up to the contractor to patch it. The state will require him to go back and hot mix, is my understanding. And I think he's working with T-Dot's not the easiest. I think he's been trying to call everybody and their brother to get an answer, and he's not getting good information, I don't think. But I think Daryl may have helped that out a little bit, because he had time.
I don't think he's getting the answer he wanted. He kept coming back and kept, you know, you're gonna have to do it this way. And somebody said they didn't have to have a permit, and I'm like, I have to have a permit. You sure?
That's what I'm saying, we cut into, if the city cuts into a state street to do our deal, we have to go. We have to meet all their requirements and them do their, just like everybody else does.
Just to make the sprinkler line connection at Old Main into the road there, I had like 9 or 10 pages involved in the approachment permit and the drawing and all the hoops that they filled, the things they would fill out. It's not just one page or call and say, hey, I'm cutting here. And we do it every time we go into a state road. And we have a bond that already, and I think that was the issue. This person really didn't, when he found out there was going to be a bond involved, he wanted us, well, this is, since it's sewer, you know, this is for the sewer department. No, it's not. That's my story, that's the.
The other last item I have is as y'all know, if you look around the city hall, you kind of see the lack of. Well, what had kind of happened, I think it got a little carried away, but that's another story. But what had happened was, all these boxwoods on this side, she cut them, and they looked like sticks. There was no leaves on them. And they've been here for over 20 years. They were just growing up in the winter. So we decided to pull all those. Well, ended up we pulled everything. But I think if you notice over the years, we've all talked about doing something in the front, using maybe the marker from the old City Hall that was built here in 39. I think Jim has a bronze thing from that building too. We're thinking about trying to incorporate that into the landscaping and stuff like that. And since one of them's not here, and the other one's on the park board, I think if it's Darla, the rest of the board, which I'm pretty sure would be, I'll ask Mark Barber and Donna Butler, along with Dina, be on the committee to come back with a design on how they want to do that. Because really, truly, all joking aside, this is our opportunity. If y'all ever wanted to do something in the front, on this side of shrubbery, and I think if you look, it got to be looking like a jungle out front. To me, that stuff got out there. This is really an opportunity to honestly do something in the front to make it look, especially incorporating some of the things from the old city hall we have out front. It could be a monument or something like that. I don't know. It's something, but I'll leave that up to Alderman Barber there with Alderman Butler and Dina to bring
My
it.
pleasure to serve.
If they said y'all have any problem, won't be on that committee.
Great time.
In time we're dealing with that, we're also gonna work on the drive-through, correct?
Yes.
Atwater is here doing work on the sidewalk as today.
Today.
And I think we're
It's
going
supposed to come in the morning.
to be coming here to City Hall in the morning.
Y'all pour
Well,
concrete
I
tomorrow.
ain't gonna do the $11 on it.
Okay.
And then when you get that done, you'll come to.
Okay, so it may be done the next week.
And I think some places in the back too, they're looking at, could be, could be to simply put side back in some areas or doing something else. But I just think right now is the time, we get it all pulled out, to honestly come back with a plan that we can do something now. Instead of piecemealing it or just doing it, we can honestly get it done right. Chief, you got anything? Brent? Eric?
All I got to say is, man, look, I want to get with Darryl, man. Hey, I'm just going to tell you, we got that jackhammer. And man, that jackhammer hurts your back. Because man, I had to be out work 2 days. One day, because when it goes on the road, when you're trying to pull it out, it strains your back. And what I was going to consider was getting with Darryl and go half on like a walk behind street saw.
Y'all look it up, bring it to the board. Consideration.
That jackhammer, man, you know how it is.
Wasn't in this one, the whole idea of skid steer is they make a number of attachments. One of them is a pavement cutter,
Yeah.
one is the saw that you go on in it. I mean, there's a number of different options as far as cutters.
Well, let's
and things
get,
like that.
get,
We're
some-
just
get,
interested to see what-
we gotta get the options to bring back to us. Let's look at the options to bring back. I thought you were gonna give us that 5 minutes.
No, that ain't good.
Chief, you could-
The other thing I wanted to ask the board, it wasn't on the agenda, but we're getting low on gas meters, like residential gas meters. Right now, currently, we have about 40 services to put in. We've got about 20 meters left. Called today to see what the delivery looks like on meters, see what the pricing has been, since a lot of materials and things like that was getting kind of hard to get. One supplier told us that if we ordered meters, we did 50 like last year, and if we did the same order, we would be looking at 33 weeks to get them. They're not the only vendor, but, we need to go ahead and try to maybe get, like to purchase about 75 gas meters, and currently they're running right around $115 to $120. That would be like $9,000. And that we need to go ahead and get a spec out and then go ahead and get a firm price and go ahead and get meters ordered, or we're going to be out of meters before we can serve what we've already got on the books.
So we basically just need to authorize getting bidding or?
Bid and purchase gas. Not to exceed 9,000.
And I'll second.
Motion seconds, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by aye. Aye. All those signify by no. Motion carries. Anything else there?
That's it.
Jim?
One item, we are proceeding with the street lighting project at Kimberly Drive and 45. You remember months ago, this whole process got started. We ended up working through Southwest Electric. State would not accept their information, so we had to get Barry Alexander involved with getting the design done. So Barry has finished the design. He got submitted back to TDOT. They did approve it. Those designs, my request went back to Southwest Electric. We requested that they do the install. Where we would not have to hire a contractor. They are willing to do that, so they have, hopefully this is okay with y'all. We went ahead and ordered the materials for it. It'll be 4 stainless poles and the light heads on each one of them. They'll put them up. The cost of materials is like $16,000. And then the labor will be figured whenever they get them up. Now, there, once again, it's a long lead time on everything now. So it may be after Christmas before we ever see these poles. But we went ahead to keep the project moving. We went ahead and ordered the poles, told Southwest to order them. So they are on order. So I just want to give you an update.
I can't remember what was the lights we were using.
What?
The lights?
I don't remember the actual brand, but it is an LED fixture, you know. And I don't remember exactly which one it was.
Well, I think after this, I think we can talk about after this, these go up, going and see how they do is going back to Southwest and start trying to replace the old ones out at each intersection. Let's say we have an intersection down in Magic Valley, the intersection of Henderson Stamping and then come on down to the bypass. But this one is the one that goes, you know, I think y'all remember this one turns in by Tractor Supply and goes place.
We thought we needed to do this. And part of the delay was when the design got done, you came back to Southwest Electric, and they didn't have an LED fixture that had selected that was going to be their standard that would meet the requirements. So they actually had to review fixtures and make a decision on what's going to be their standard under their entire system for an LED highway type fixture, which was, I thought, a little unusual, but that's, I mean, so, but the process, we tried to keep it moving, so we are moving forward.
Anything else, Jim? Tricia?
That's just one thing, I know we've had some staff and stuff that are out, COVID, Carter's, and we got, how many in public work? We got nine utilities, public works has got Carter. Well, I just want to thank everybody shows up, works, y'all don't miss any time. And just sorry anybody's come down.
If anybody else has anything they want to add, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.